Yo, it's your boy Logos, and I consider Black English and Ebonics just another example of the Black community lowering the standards for itself, which only hurts ourselves in the short term and the long term. And I don't understand why people like to prioritize being funny, trying to be entertaining, trying to be cool, instead of, prioritizing the intelligence, education, and actually being able to hold a conversation. I don't understand what's so great about having people trying to get a headache or accidentally getting a headache. Are they trying to decode and decipher the words that just came out of your mouth or the words that you just typed out on that paper or on the screen? Wherever the situation may be, regardless, I'm a fan of talking clearly, using punctuation when it's necessary. That way, whatever idea or sentence you're trying to get out for people to read and understand can be easily understandable, especially when you talk about complex topics like politics, science, or a lot of different things. People can take your tone or take what you actually mean behind the words you say out of context or misconstrue it. But if you make yourself as clear as possible with what you say and what you mean, and that only comes through knowledge, reading, education, and having the standard for yourself and how you want to portray yourself with other people, then Black English or any other type of, I don't know, degradation or lowering the standards when it comes to the way you talk and communicate is only going to hold you back. Now, we don't have any, I don't know, good argument against what I'm saying. Like, you could say people should be able to talk the way they want to talk, but the whole thing is people need to understand you. And if you want to be successful, if you want to have wealth, if you want to be able to advance your career or advance your legacy, you need to work with other people. And usually those other people are in professional environments. And nobody has time or the energy, nor the desire, nor they should, to try to have to constantly figure out what the hell you're trying to say. Constantly we make excuses for why the Black community isn't at a certain point. But oftentimes when you look at ourselves and certain stuff that certain people are doing within our community, you see the real reason why. Stuff like this, not prioritizing reading, education, communication, clear communication, the sharing of ideas and knowledge, stuff like that that should be upholded as a pillar and something that we look to, I don't know, some type of North Star that we should be racing towards. We don't do that. It seems to be all about entertainment and being funny and trying to do other stuff so other people can think you're cool or whatever it may be. It's pretty damn sad. Within our community, we don't talk about scientists, philosophers, historians, people that actually, contribute to society. We talk about bullshit gangster rap. We talk about people with multiple baby mamas or multiple baby daddies. We don't talk about stuff that actually matter. People that actually upholding, good values. We see those people as lame or at the right or some other backwards ass thinking. Is really pretty pathetic. I really have no patience for it because the same people that say they want to do this that, and the other, they really don't act like it. It is what it is. So you get what you deserve. That's how I feel. Curious to see what Thomas Sowell got to say about this. I'm pretty sure you're gonna say something similar, considering all the other videos I watch, reacted to, and books I've read. So let's get into it. I already talked for like 4 minutes.
Multiculturalism. First, the progressive era in intellectuals and race, then you deal with the liberal era, and then comes the era of multiculturalism. Intellectuals and race, quote, the era of multiculturalism might be considered an extension of the liberal era, but it has evolved its own characteristics. Multiculturalism is an insistence that the particular cultures found among less fortunate groups are not to be blamed for disparities in income or education or crime rates, but are on net positive.
Yes.
Close quote. Explain that.
Well, I don't know how to say it differently. Uh, you can't find any fault with any group that is less fortunate. There are no behaviors that they need to change in order to advance. Society needs to accept them as they are. In other words, the causes are to remain the same, but the effects are to change. And if the effects don't change, then it's society's fault.
So, for example, there was a period, I'm trying to remember now, I believe it was in the mid-'70s when substandard English began to become
Yes.
began to become viewed as a discipline of its own within linguistic
yes.
studies and so forth. And for all I know, it was all perfectly legitimate that certain speech patterns would be traced back to various regions in Africa and so forth. And this is a language of its own. It has its own validity. But the argument, your argument would be, I don't really care what its validity is. It's holding people back.
Yes.
It's preventing them from participating in the wider society. Is that right?
Absolutely. And also, none of these things went back to Africa.
Oh, is that so?
No, you can.
Sound like bullshit.
Yes, they did not go back to Africa. If you look at the peace, for example, using the word axe for ask and stuff like that, all of that goes back to the South, and it goes back to the parts of Britain from which white Southerners came. So if you trace calling hog entrails chitlins, that was in a certain section of Britain, the section from which whites moved into the South.
I didn't know that about chitlins, and that came from like Britain. I know what chitlins are. I never ate them because the whole idea of them sound disgusting to me. But yeah, and within the black community, chitlins are one of those food that's like, I don't know, some people judge you if you don't eat them for some reason. I don't know, kind of ridiculous. Another aspect of the black community related to food that seems pretty backwards to me is how unhealthy our food are. We say black don't crack and all this other stuff about our health or our skin and other stuff that is true within certain circumstances, but then we love to shovel stuff with a lot of salt or a lot of grease down our, like, guts, whether it be stuff like collard greens or just certain way we cook our food. It was like, I forgot what movie that came out years ago. There's a show called The Boondocks. I did like a reference to it, but basically it was just about like a black grand family who would have people come over and the grandmother would cook dinner, and there was a whole bunch of unhealthy food, fried food, greasy food, oily food that you shouldn't be eating a lot or at all. Or if you do, smaller portions. But eventually that grandmother dies from like diabetes and other health related problems. And the people within the movie, they didn't change their behavior. They didn't stop eating all this greasy, nasty food. No, they kept eating it because it's part of the culture. And it's something they would still do every single weekend or every single holiday. I can't remember. It's been years since I watched the episode. But the point is, certain stuff that may be detrimental to us, and this happens within every culture, but certain things that may be detrimental to us, we'll keep doing it because it's seen as tradition. And I don't care about tradition. If it's something that's going to make a positive gain in your life, that's what really matters. I think the whole point of, progressing, getting more knowledge, getting more advanced in society is leaving things behind that is detrimental to you, but you didn't know any better, or you didn't have access or resources. You should always try to advance and learn and do better so you can have a better life for future generations.
And they were known as rednecks and crackers in Britain in centuries past, before they ever set foot in the South. So the whole thing is as phony as the $3 bill.
All right. Once again, intellectuals and race. The key word among advocates of multiculturalism became diversity.
Yes.
Sweeping claims for the benefits of demographic and cultural diversity have prevailed without a speck of evidence being asked for or given.
I know I just paused, but I just want to talk about real quick. I don't know when this interview was done, but this whole idea of diversity is still obviously going on today, but even at a more ramped up scale, especially within Hollywood and other, industries. It just, I don't know, it just tells you that they only just ramped up more and more as time go on, and they're really not trying to hear any other argument. And it's really, I don't know, telling, because eventually they start eating themselves. Leftists always end up, I don't know, attacking other leftists when they end up disagreeing with them because you're not virtuous enough. And this whole idea of diversity, it's like a swinging of the pendulum or overcorrection of, previous racists or white supremacists or any other type of views that is now seen as rightfully wrong to have. And that happens with a lot of things. You try to fit an aspect of society or aspect of culture, but then you end up going way too far. And then you end up having degeneracy.
Name a few institutions in which diversity is championed without without evidence?
Gosh, the question would be, name one way where that isn't the case. I would say the whole Ivy League, Stanford, Berkeley.
Corporate America?
Yes. It's really miraculous almost. I mean, I can't think of a word that has gained such widespread use and which is utterly unchallenged without one speck of evidence. If you look at societies that are diverse, they have all they can do to avoid mutual bloodshed. I mean, India, for example, is very diverse, and you know
It barely coheres as a nation. So.
That's right. When India was given its freedom by Britain and split into India and Pakistan, I mean, the number of people slaughtered between Hindus and Muslims ran into the hundreds of thousands.
All right.
Yeah, overall, just aspects of culture within our community need to be changed. And I think that's the only option if you want progress. It's not about, trying to fit in with white people, because that's the main excuse that people make when it comes to this type of things. It's just about doing behaviors that are sensible or sensical. Either way, you should do things that make sense. I don't think having a culture where rappers, entertainers, athletes are the people that you look up to, I don't think that's a positive culture to have. I'm not saying those are bad people, but are people that are actually upholding society so they can do what they do every day, or people actually advance in society, like doctors, scientists, researchers, people that actually, contribute things that can help humankind, civilization overall, or people that prioritize education, knowledge. People say knowledge is power, but how many people actually do read? Or how many people actually care about academic subjects? Or people that actually can hold a conversation about things that aren't related to entertainment, sports, or reality television? That's something I'm trying to say. There's nothing wrong with people enjoying these other things, because I love sports. I love playing video games. I love anime. I love a whole bunch of different things. But at the same time, I care very much about politics. I care very much about history, military history, and I also care very much about society overall and how it's going to be for future generations. And I feel like I'm at the point, or I was born in a point in time where civilization is like, I don't know, the precipice of being changed dramatically, and it seems like for the worse. And the one thing I can't do is just, sit here and do nothing or say nothing and just let it pass by. So it is what it is. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Like, share, and subscribe. It's your boy Logos, and I'll see you next time. Peace.